I think being a newborn parent is quite a difficult thing in its own right. You get a lot of advice from multiple sources. You're not really prepared for when you come home and you have a newborn child there and you're not quite sure what to do or how to do things, and that the child is the one that needs all the attention and care, and you don't have all the answers. So being someone, I actually enjoy my sleep quite a lot, so I found it very difficult to be interrupted for sleep during the middle of the night. I found it difficult to function the next day when I was going to work. Even small interruptions were quite sort of disruptive to me personally, so it took me quite a while to adjust to having to get up in the night, or not even getting up but just being disrupted from your sleep. You educate yourself in life in many different ways to cope with your job and your education at school, but I don't think you always turn to professionals sometimes when things you're expected to be able to manage yourself. When we first tried to work through the sleep deprivation issues, Kristen was doing a lot of it on her own, and you try to be supportive and help where you can, but I found it rather helpless. Things that I was saying were either aggravating the situation or telling me things that she already knew. Kristen found somebody that she'd been referred to that is an expert at techniques and strategies you can use to help get your child settle better and sleep better. So we went into that with I went into that with a bit of an open mind, and we got some help from Alison in terms of understanding our situation and what we were already trying to implement around getting our child to settle and sleep. Alison gave us a lot of different sort of ideas and insight that we probably didn't find elsewhere, and being personalised to our situation and our child was really helpful to me. Getting the facts or getting some tactical things that we could execute and having it delivered by someone who's professional but also someone that's not in our immediate environment or within our family was quite helpful to me. As a male, when my wife is telling me what to do or how to do something, I can it can be a little bit confronting, and sometimes I might challenge that sort of situation, but being engaging a consultant that can give you direct information, strategies and techniques to deal with sleep deprivation and how to implement them, I found very useful personally. Kristen and I agreed that this was a good thing to try, and we had things written down on a page. So we had a plan on a page as to what we were going to to do with our children to get them to sleep, and how to settle. At first it was a bit of a step through process to work through exactly what you have to do and how to wrap and how to hold the baby and how many minutes or how many seconds to put them down or how long you leave them in the cot before you go back, which can be difficult, but there's a lot of logic and rationale to what it is that you're trying to execute, and having that plan on a page that both Kristen and I can refer to as our single source of truth of what it is that we're going to do when the child's not sleeping was extremely helpful, especially to me of not knowing what's happening during the day. I can always revert back to what's the strategy that we're trying to implement, and is it working, or what else do we need to do. And we were seeing results pretty much straight away. And looking back on it now, I think it's an investment in your time and it's energy, but it's sleep deprivation is a killer. So having two kids now that sleep from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And go down really well with the techniques that we implemented a long time ago, it makes our lives much easier and a whole lot better. Our family is much more unified and happy, and a lot of it's driven around everyone getting the right amount of sleep, not having to go through the frustrations of a screaming child or a child not sleeping, and the flow-on effects of that.